Hi, it's Diane with My Sacred Circles. I came across a study that I love that really talked about the mind, body, spirit connection. And I often talk about it because I feel like they're so interconnected, it's really hard not to. So this one was just a pilot study. It was a small study that looked at acute coronary syndrome patients, and it wanted to know if spiritual interventions could help people with depression that had acute coronary syndrome. The reason being, depression is something that really increases the risk of morbidity and mortality rates among people with cardiovascular disease. So, in other words, if you have depression and cardiovascular problems, you are at an increased risk for dying from that. And so they're looking to see if they increase, are there ways they can help with depression so that theoretically that may offset some deaths and help people. So it could potentially have a lot of implications. So what they did was they had 3 different groups. One was just your control group. One was a lifestyle change program where it was 4 days of nutrition education. It was a retreat. 4 days of nutrition education, exercise, and stress management. And the third was a non-denominational spiritual retreat center for 4 days, and they did interventions such as guided imagery, meditation, journaling, drumming, and nature-based activities. And then they checked them again after the program was done, after the 4 days, and then at the 3-month mark and at the 6-month mark. And the 2 groups that had the retreat centers, they also had calls every 2 weeks for the first 3 months. So the group that had the most significant change initially was the spiritual group. And it was significant. It was very significant. The number's probably not going to mean anything, but it went from a 0.21 to a 0.002 in their depression scoring. But 0.002, I mean, that's a huge difference. And if you think about quality of life and happiness, so they were able to basically maintain these lower numbers, and they were able to do it quickly, which is really key and important just in your own happiness and having hope and really enjoying your life. So the reason I loved this study was because it took your number one cause of death in America, which is cardiovascular disease, and it acknowledged that a mental health disorder plays a very key role in increasing the odds of dying from that disease, acknowledging the associated risk factor. And then it was looking at addressing the risk factor to the physical problem. So through spiritual intervention. So it looked at the physical, the mental, and the spiritual, one affecting the other, affecting the other. So I really liked that, and I thought it was very interesting. It didn't really surprise me, quite frankly, because spiritual interventions really impact health very quickly, and but I'm glad to see research being done on it. And I just want to stress, regardless of religion, whether you're atheist or fundamentalist, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, Buddhist or Hindu or Muslim or Wiccan or New Age, regardless of where your religious beliefs lay, you're a spiritual being. You have a spiritual body. It's an energetic field. And you may not choose to believe in the connection with the divine. Different people have different takes on all of that. But know that you are a spiritual being, and you have this aspect of yourself that shouldn't be ignored, really. It's like not acknowledging you have a right hand, So the practices that they used, guided imagery, meditation, journaling, drumming, and nature-based practices, are spiritual practices that feed your spiritual being, but they can be used by anyone, and regardless of what your religious belief system is, which is wonderful. So you can, fulfill the needs that your body really craves and desires. And I just want to say those are only 5 spiritual practices out there. I mean, there's a world of spiritual practices that you can try and use. This specific study focused on 5. So, heck, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and you can take that step and explore for your own spiritual journey. And I hope you enjoy. Namaste.